Picture the person who made the choice that is at the center of this story. They sat across from a government minister somewhere in Whitehall and outlined what the future could look like if Britain did not come up with the money. A battery factory in Spain, electric Jaguar and Range Rover vehicles assembled closer to Spanish supply chains, and somewhere between 30,000 and 40,000 British jobs that might, over time, start drifting south. Then they picked up the check for £380 million of your money and flew home to Mumbai. That is not a conspiracy. That is what the documents say happened. In April 2026, the Labour government confirmed it was handing a £380 million subsidy to Agratas, the battery division of the Tata Group, which also owns Jaguar Land Rover. The money would go toward a gigafactory being built in Bridgewater, Somerset, one of the largest electric vehicle battery plants in Europe. The government called it an investment in Britain's green future. They said it would sustain over 4,000 jobs and anchor the United Kingdom's transition to electric vehicles. And on the surface, that sounds reasonable. A government backing a major industrial project. Pretty standard. But then the internal documents leaked, and this stopped being a standard story very quickly. If you want to subscribe to this channel and keep up with stories like this one, now is a great time to hit that button. We post regularly on UK business and politics, and this one matters, because here is what those leaked papers actually revealed. Officials from the Department for Business and Trade warned in writing that without the £380 million subsidy, the Agratas battery factory might not be built in Somerset. It might be built in Spain instead. And if the batteries were in Spain, then, as the documents put it, over time this systemic disadvantage could lead JLR to relocate its vehicle production closer to the battery plant in Spain, resulting in significant job losses at JLR's UK vehicle production and its wider supply chain. In other words, the government was being told that if it did not pay, Jaguar might leave Britain. So it paid. And here is where the story takes a sharp turn. Jaguar Land Rover immediately denied this entire framing. A company spokesperson said, and I am quoting directly here, that JLR is committed to manufacturing in the UK, and that they did not suggest moving their vehicle production to Spain during discussions with the government about the location of the gigafactory. The government, meanwhile, insisted the documents only explored a hypothetical scenario, and that there was never any confirmed plan for JLR to quit Britain. So we have a government paying £380 million to prevent something from happening, while the company that allegedly threatened to make it happen says they never made the threat, and the government says it was never a real threat anyway. Think about that for a second. £380 million to prevent a scenario that everyone is now claiming was never quite real. The Competition and Markets Authority, which is required by law to review subsidies above £25 million, looked at the deal and raised its own questions. The CMA told the government its assessment should provide more reasoning and evidence to support the conclusion that JLR relocating could have led to the majority of UK automotive production leaving the country. Even the regulator was not convinced the domino theory held up, but the money went out the door anyway. Now, before you hear the word subsidy and immediately know how to feel about it, it is worth understanding what this factory actually is and why the government thought the logic worked. The UK car industry is heading toward an electric future. Electric vehicles need batteries. Batteries are currently the single most valuable component in an EV, often more than half the total cost of the car. If you are making electric Jaguars and Range Rovers in Britain, but importing your batteries from abroad, you are at a permanent cost disadvantage compared to manufacturers who make cars near their own battery supply. That gap widens over time and makes UK production less and less competitive. Germany has Volkswagen's battery plants. France has Renault's. The United States dropped hundreds of billions through the Inflation Reduction Act to anchor battery production domestically. Britain was behind, and the government knew it. The ERUPTS gigafactory in Bridgewater is being built to address that. It will produce 40 gigawatt-hours of battery cells annually, which is enough to power around 500,000 electric vehicles every year. Jaguar Land Rover employs around 33,000 people across the UK, and the factories in Solihull, Castle Bromwich and Halewood are anchor employers in their communities. The argument from the government side is that £380 million to secure that ecosystem is not a handout. It is an investment with a measurable return. That argument might even be convincing if it did not land on top of everything else Tata Group has received from British taxpayers. Because this is not the first time the Indian conglomerate has collected from Westminster. Tata Steel, which runs the Port Talbot Steelworks in South Wales, received £500 million of government support to upgrade its operations. Add the two together, and Tata Group has taken close to £900 million in UK public money in recent years, all while Tata Sons, the parent company, manages one of the largest corporate empires on earth. And if you are sitting at home wondering why your GP surgery is understaffed, or why your local council has cut the bus service, or why 2.5 million pensioners lost their winter fuel payments last year under this same Labour government that said there was £22 billion black hole in the public finances, then the question you are asking is a fair one. How is there no money for the things that hold people's lives together, but there is £380 million for a company owned by one of India's wealthiest industrial dynasties? The government's answer is jobs and strategic infrastructure, and it is not nothing. 4,000 direct jobs at the gigafactory, thousands more across the supply chain, and the long-term anchoring of British automotive manufacturing in the electric era are real things. The Nissan Gigafactory in Sunderland, which also received public money, has been a genuine anchor for the northeast economy. These deals can work, but the backlash is not really about whether the factory is a good idea. It is about the framing. A government that told pensioners the money had run out and cut a payment worth on average a few £100 per household per year turned around a few months later and handed nearly £400 million to a subsidiary of a foreign conglomerate based on the threat of a scenario that the company itself says was never on the table and that the CMA said needed more evidence to support. You can believe both that the gigafactory matters and that the way this was done, the secrecy, the leaked documents, The contradictions between the company and the government looks like exactly the kind of thing the party of working people was supposed to be different from. And that is the part people are not letting go of. Not whether batteries matter, whether the same rules apply to everyone. Tata's gigafactory in Bridgewater is scheduled to begin battery production this year. The site will become one of the largest manufacturing facilities in the country. Thousands of people in Somerset will have jobs because of it. None of that is in dispute. What is in dispute is how Britain got here, who paid for it, and whether the people who signed the check were honest about why they did it. When the documents showed up, the government called them hypothetical. Jaguar called the relocation threat fabricated. But £380 million moved from the public purse to the Tata Group. And that part is very much not hypothetical at all. If this video gave you something to think about, drop it in the comments. We want to hear whether you think this deal was worth it or whether you see it the same way a lot of people in this country do right now. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss what is coming next, and share this.